Hey folks, Cam here with The Real World. This is the big March haul video. My birthday's in March, so I always get a lot of movies for my birthday. That's all I ask for typically. So this is going to be a big video. Got a lot of movies this year. Very excited to share with you what I got. So let's get started. Alright folks, so this year for my birthday, as always, I asked for movies, so this is what I got. Thank you to all of you who got me movies for my birthday, or cash. That's what I spent the cash on, was movies. So let's kick it off with one of the oldest films in the collection. It Came from Outer Space. This is a classic sci-fi movie. It's one of those great sci-fi B movies that I have a ton of fun with. Great creature design, very iconic and memorable. Really fun movie. This is the 4K edition. Universal put this out, and it's the slipcover edition. Looks very nice on the 4K format. It does include several bonus features as well. I'm going to do in-depth reviews on all of these movies, so this is just going to be a quick overview of each one. But I'm just a huge fan of science fiction, particularly 50s sci-fi, black and white. Big fan of that stuff. So this is definitely a good one. Happy to have in the collection. Jumping over to a double feature. This is True Grit and Hondo. For some reason, it's not including the John Wayne version of True Grit. That was a little bit odd, but hey, it frees up shelf space for me because I already have the remake of True Grit and the John Wayne version. So I get to add another film to the collection and not take up so much space. That's a big thing for me right now, as the collection is nearing 1,100 films. Shelf space is limited. So, but I'm glad to have Hondo in the collection. It's a Western that I'm a big fan of. I've liked it for several years now since I've seen it. So happy to have that there. That one actually has quite a few bonus features on it as well, which is cool. Another Western, I wanted to add more Westerns to the collection, The Fastest Gun Alive. I have not seen this movie, but I've heard very good things. I'm a big Glenn Ford fan. He's a great actor, and so this was one of those that I hadn't seen that he was in that I wanted to add to the collection. Warner Archive Collection put out this really cool edition, which I'm excited to jump into. Then going back into sci-fi, one of those great kind of kitschy sci-fi B movies full of kind of melodrama and all that fun stuff. Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. This is a really fun movie. I really had a good time watching this. Just popped it in the player earlier today and had a ton of fun with it. It's one that I'll definitely revisit in the future. Has some really interesting effects, and the way that they do all that is really just kind of fun to watch. So yeah, this is an iconic film that is getting a remake. Tim Burton is going to remake this, which is going to be cool. And then another Western, unique Western, Lonely Are the Brave. Kirk Douglas claimed this was the best movie he ever made, his favorite of his films, so I'm very excited to watch this again. I have seen it before, really like it, really interesting film, really well made, and deals with a lot of great themes. Kino Lorber put this out. They're one of my favorite boutique Blu-ray labels. And so they did a great job with that, includes several bonus features. I also picked up It's a Mad World. This is a classic comedy, epic comedy from the 60s. Excited to see it. I've never seen it before. Heard many great things, a lot of great actors in it. So that's one that'll be fun to dive into. Another Western, this one by Sam Peckinpah, Ride the High Country, with both Randolph Scott and Joel McCrea. Definitely two actors I'm a big fan of. I just got the big renowned Western box set that Criterion put out. So I'm very excited to dive into this film that he made several years later. So yeah, that's going to be a fun one to watch. Haven't seen that one before. Another one I have not seen, another Western, Will Penny. Kino Lorber also put out this version, and also did a great job with it. Several bonus features included. This is the slipcover edition. Charlton Heston claimed this was his favorite movie he had ever made, and he's a favorite actor of mine, much like Kirk Douglas is. So had to check it out. That is one that I'm really looking forward to popping in the player and seeing. Then we have Tim Burton classic Beetlejuice. I did not own this movie. This is one of those movies that I really like that for whatever reason I've just never added to the collection. and they have a 4K edition out now. The sequel's coming later this year, so this was the perfect time to pick it up. This one also has several bonus features on it, and so I'm excited to watch this in ultra high def, which I have not done before. Then we have one of my favorite Coen Brothers movies. If you listen to the Coen Brothers podcast we did recently, you'll know that this was one of my favorites that I just saw for the first time. The Hudsucker Proxy, Tim Robbins, Paul Newman, Jennifer Jason Leigh, great actors in this. Coen Brothers wrote it and directed it. Sam Raimi, their good friend and director of the Spider-Man trilogy, second unit directed and co-wrote this film. One of my favorites. Again, I could watch this anytime. It harkens back to the classic era of 1930s and 40s films from Frank Capra and Howard Hawks and that type of stuff. So if you like It's a Wonderful Life or Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, His Girl Friday, Philadelphia Story, that's kind of, what this is in the same vein as. So definitely happy to have that in the collection now. Next up, we have a double feature featuring Bruce Willis, one of my favorite actors, whose birthday is just about a week before mine in March. And this is Last Man Standing and The Last Boy Scout from two great directors, Tony Scott and Walter Hill. I think these are both really fun action movies. This was a really cheap one, so it was one of those, it's like I'm getting two for the price of one, basically. So half of one, really. I mean, it was very, very cheap. Found this at Dollar General. So if you're one of those movie fans that, wants to look for some odd movies in odd places, try Dollar General. Another Kino Lorber collection film, it's Ronin. Ronin is one of my favorite action movies of all time, one of my favorite Robert De Niro films. John Frankenheimer's brilliant director. He did a great job. This might be his best movie. And the 4K edition looks and sounds outstanding. Tons of bonus features here on every element of the filmmaking, which is really cool. And so yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites that I added recently. Then we also have the Robin Williams classic RV. Not necessarily a classic, but it is a funny movie. I have a fun time with this. My wife really enjoys it, so had to add it to the collection. This one has several bonus features on it, which is pretty cool too. Then we have a newer film, Creed 3. Really big fan of what Michael B. Jordan did directing this film and starring in it. Of course, you have, Tessa Thompson back and Jonathan Majors, who's, of course, embroiled in some legal trouble right now. But great acting, great direction, really interesting fight scenes, very unique type of boxing movie. So very happy to have this in the collection. Can't wait to watch it again. The grand finale of the DCEU, the DC Cinematic Universe, that ended with Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Huge fan of Aquaman, huge fan of Jason Momoa, huge fan of this movie. I really think it's a great sequel. I don't think it's quite as good as the first one. I'm a huge fan of that first James Wan Aquaman film. He came back and delivered, I think, a really entertaining sequel. Patrick Wilson in a bigger role, more Black Manta, really, really good stuff here. Really excited to see this in its full 4K glory on my TV. So yeah, that's one that I really am excited to see again. And then last but not least, Avatar: The Way of Water 4K Collector's Edition. Okay, so this is the big 4K box set that has 4 discs full of everything you could ever want to know about Avatar: The Way of Water. The 4K edition looks stunning. I mean, it really doesn't get better. I mean, as far as video and audio quality, top of the line. So that's the haul for March. Let me know what your favorite of all of these is in the comments below. Make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe. These are all getting their own individual Blu-ray reviews on the channel very soon. And so be on the lookout for those. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time right here on The Real World.